man stops in front of you in the bustling Roman market, ledger empty, and asks, politely, almost kindly, for an hour of your life. You give it to him. You don't argue. You don't ask his name. He writes it down, closes the book, and moves to the next person in the crowd. Now, picture him doing that 11 more times before nightfall. That's the part nobody tells you. You imagine time being stolen, snatched, torn away, some violence done to you. It's never like that. It's always handed over. Willingly. By a person who would swear under oath that they were robbed. You set yourself this week. There aren't enough hours. But you weren't short on hours. You had the same number as every emperor, every saint, every man who ever built something that outlived him. You just don't know where yours went or who has them now. So let's start there. Who owns the hour you just spent? Here is the paradox, and I want you to sit inside it before we go further. The man who owned nothing owned every hour of his life. The men who owned him, who owned houses, land, other men, could not account for a single afternoon. Epictetus was property. He could be sold, beaten, moved to another city on someone's whim. And still, when he died, he had not lost one day. His masters, free by law, lost decades. They just never got the receipt. So the question is not how do I get more time? You will not get more. That door is closed, and it was closed before you were born. The question is the one you have been avoiding because the answer is embarrassing. Where is it going now, and who is receiving it? In the next few minutes, I'm going to give you one idea. Not a system, not a morning routine, not an app. One idea from a crippled slave in a Roman household that separates a life you own from a life that is quietly being spent by someone else. And the reason you already know the answer and haven't said it out loud. It starts with a single sentence. Who owns the hour you just spent? His name was Epictetus. He was born a slave in Phrygia and sold into a house in Rome. And somewhere in those years his leg was broken and left to heal wrong, so that he limped for the rest of his life. He did not own his labor. He did not own his location. He did not own the hours of his day. A man he had not chosen could take all of them, and did. And this is the strange thing. He is the one who said we are free. Not free someday. Not free if the politics improve or the master dies. Free now, in the room, in the chains, in the body that doesn't work right. Because Epictetus made a division that almost nobody makes honestly. There are things that are yours and things that are not, and the entire weight of a human life rests on telling them apart. Your body is not yours. Your reputation is not yours. Your time, the raw hours on the clock, was never fully yours either. But what you do inside an hour, what you assent to, that, he said, no one could take. It can only be given away. Picture your day as a jug of water you are handed at dawn. Full. Cold. Heavier than you expect. Nobody is going to come and take that jug from you. That's not how it happens. What happens is that you carry it across a long courtyard, and every few steps someone calls your name, and you turn, and a little spills. A notification. A grudge you rehearse for the 4th time. A conversation with someone who isn't in the room. An argument you're winning against a man who will never hear it. Turn, spill. Turn, spill. And at dusk you look down, and the jug is light in your hands, and you say, the day was too short. The day was not short. You were leaking. Epictetus who had every excuse to say his jug was stolen. A slave, a body that failed him, a leg that never healed straight, said this instead. You may fetter my leg, but my will not even Zeus himself can overpower. Sit with the arrogance of that. A man who owned nothing, who could be sold in the morning, telling the king of the gods, there is a room in me you cannot enter. He isn't saying the chains are imaginary. He's not pretending the leg doesn't hurt. He is saying that the chain reaches the ankle and stops. There's a line, and outside it is everything the world does to you, and inside it is the only thing you have ever actually owned, what you assent to, what you turn your face toward. The free men in that courtyard had full jugs and empty hands. He had chains and carried his to the end of the day without spilling a drop. Who owns the hour you just spent? But you want to object. And the objection is honest, so say it out loud. Some hours are owed. There's the shift. There's the rent. There's the parent who calls at 11 at night and needs you awake. Not everyone gets to choose what fills the day. Epictetus would not argue. He had less discretion over his hours than anyone you will ever meet. He could be sent to the kitchen, the road, the bed of man he despised, and no part of that was negotiable. So he asked a smaller question, and the smaller question is the one that cuts. Not who chose this hour, but who is in it with you. Because the theft is almost never the task. The theft is the second life you run underneath the task. The argument you rehearse while you wash the dishes. The reply you compose to a man who will never read it. You do the hour twice, once with your hands and once in a courtroom in your head where you're always the plaintiff and no verdict ever comes. The first hour was yours. The second one belongs to whoever you were arguing with. You put it as a dinner. Remember that you must behave as at a banquet. Something is passed around and comes to you. Reach out your hand and take a moderate portion. It passes on. Do not detain it. Look at what that asks. Not that you refuse the dish. Not that you own the table. You never own the table. You are always a guest in another man's house. Only that when the plate moves, your hand lets go. The free men were still chewing yesterday. He ate what was in front of him and set the plate down clean. Who owns the hour you just spent? You don't have an owner. You have 100 of them, and you invited everyone. Look at your morning. Before your feet were on the floor, you handed the first 10 minutes to a company that sells your attention by the ounce. On the drive, you gave 20 to a man on a podcast who does not know you exist, arguing with someone who is not in the car. At work, you gave an hour to a meeting that could have been 4 sentences, and you knew it by minute 6, and you stayed. Then the evening, the scroll, the second scroll, the reflexive checking of a thing you already checked. You did not lose that time. You handed it over. Slaves are taken. You volunteered. Epictetus would not tell you to delete the apps. He'd say something colder. Notice what you already gave away and stop pretending it was stolen. So here is today's work. Tonight, before you sleep, take a sheet of paper and write down 4 hours from today, just 4 in ink. Beside each one, write a single name. The name of whoever actually owned it. Sometimes it will be you. Often it will be a stranger, a company, a grudge, a man who wronged you in 2019 and has not thought of you since. Do not judge it. Do not resolve anything. Just look at the list. That is the whole practice, and it will hurt more than any discipline you have ever attempted, because you will see in your own handwriting exactly how much of your one life is being lived by people who never asked for it. Who owns the hour you just spent? And here is the thing the ledger will teach you, if you can stand to read it. Epictetus was owned. A man could sell him, beat him, break his leg, and go on eating his dinner. He had no hours in the way you think you have hours. No calendar, no evenings, no say in where his body stood at noon. By every measure you use, he had less time than you will ever have. He never lost a single day. Because time is not a substance. It is not water in a cup that drains whether you watch it or not. Every hour that has ever passed through a human life passed through it assigned, given as something, spent on someone, credited to a name. And the assignment is not made by the man holding the whip. It is made silently, invisibly, by the one living the hour. So here it is. No one can take an hour from you. They can only accept the one you hand them. Read that again, slowly, because it dismantles the sentence you've been repeating your whole adult life. You're not running out of time. You have never once run out of time. You have been giving it away to the argument, to the feed, to the man from 2019, to the version of your boss that lives rent-free behind your eyes, and then calling the emptiness afterwards shortage. It was never a shortage. It was a signature. Who owns the hour you just spent? Epictetus died the way he lived, with almost nothing. A lamp, a straw bed, a limp he never explained. And when they asked what he had built with his life, he did not point to a house or a title. He said only this: no man is free who is not master of himself. Not master of his schedule. Not master of his circumstances. Master of the one thing that was never for sale, the hour and where it goes. You will not fix this tonight. You will not reclaim the decade. But the next hour isn't signed. Is sitting there blank, waiting for a name. Put yours on it. New Stoic wisdom every day. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Who owns the hour you just spent? Short texto Natila. 1, a slave, owned his time. You don't. 2, you're not busy. You're borrowed. 3, the hour you just lost had an owner term in calm. Full video on the channel plus #stoicism.